Hi, this is Gail Nettles with Beaded Jewelry Diva. I do apologize for being away for so long. The last 10 months or so, I've either been preparing for surgery, recovering from surgery, or doing physical therapy. So it's been a while, but now I'm back. I'm 100% better, and let's talk about beads and do some beading. Today, this is going to be part one of an introduction to seed beads. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to explore colors and sizes in this particular video. I'm going to do another one with different shapes and things of that nature. But this one is going to be sizes because a lot of times, you get called for, okay, you need this particular size and this particular type, and you start wondering, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to be doing? Let's go ahead and start with seed beads. These round donut-shaped beads are what most people think about when they hear the term seed bead. And this is really, let's see, kind of like I said, a donut shape. You can see that they're round. And they have not quite a cylinder, not quite as cylindrical, and you can see that there's some variation in size. Some are a little bit thicker and some are a little bit thinner. This happens to be a size 6 seed bead, and one thing to remember is the larger the number, or excuse me, the smaller the number, the larger the bead. I hear it's because like 6 of these make up an inch. Let's see how close to being true that is. No, not really what I would call accurate. It looks like 3/4 of an inch, but that's the origin as I understand of. So, okay, this is the size 6s. They aren't used all that often. They are used some, but they're large beads and they're fairly expensive to use. They don't have a humongous range of colors, although it's getting better, I think. These are great for bead embroidery, though. They are fantastic, and I love using them for bead embroidery, but I don't use them a whole lot for general beading. Next are size 8s. I really like size 8s. They are big enough for me to see to bead easily, and they're small enough to be able to use as I wish, so to speak. And there's a pretty good color range in here. So size 8s, and these are probably being used a bit more lately. Next are these size 11s. This has been the traditional size for seed beads, size 11s. There is a very, very large range of colors in the size 11s. And any color you can think of, pretty much, you can find in this particular. All the finishes, you name it, you can get it in size 11s. And again, these are the traditionally sized seed beads. So you can tell we've got 6, 8, 11. Now we're come down to the 15s. These are very small, as you might guess. There's a pretty good range of colors in the size 15s. They have very tiny holes, so you have to be careful about what size needles and what thickness of thread you use with these. But they are wonderful for very fine detail. Size 15s. Now these are Charlottes, and these come from the Czech Republic. They are actually a size 12, which is about the same as the size 15s. Charlottes have one side. Let's see if I can bring this up close so you can see it. Camera focus, please, please. But you may be able to see that, darn it, camera. You may be able to see that there are some of the beads have a flat facet cut into them. This lets the beadwork have some sparkle and dimension to it. I love Charlottes. The only big problem with them is their hole size is so variable. You really do have to be careful. You have to use a size 12 or even a size 13 needle a lot of times with these guys. So those are the basic sizes for seed beads. Yes, there are a size that is bigger than the 6. There's the size 3s. As far as I'm concerned, those are getting to be not seed bead size, but they are technically seed beads. And there are items that are smaller than the 15s, and I'll show you some very shortly. But yeah, these are really the main sizes for seed beads. Now these are the traditional Japanese seed beads, and of course the Czech seed beads on the end. Now let's talk about some Delicas. Delicas are made by a company called Miyuki, and they are extremely regular in appearance. You can see that, you know, when it comes to peyote, these are like the perfect beads to use because they just, you know, line up in place beautifully well. They're not very good, because of that, they're not very good for things like right angle weave, where you definitely want to use these guys for right angle weave. But they are wonderful. I don't use a lot of Delicas because I like a more organic look, so I don't have very many, and that's why you don't see a lot of color variation here. But this is a size 10. These are size 11s, these red ones. So these are size 11 Delicas. These are size 15 Delicas. And this is something most people don't know exist. These are size 15 Delicas Charlottes. So they're even smaller than the regular size 15s of the Delicas. They are much more irregular in shape. They're much more like a seed bead, or a traditional seed bead. They do have the flat facet on one side, and they are really, really small. They do have a bigger hole than like these Charlottes, so that's great. These are very difficult to find. I've only been able to find these in a permanently galvanized silver. When I do find them, I grab them, but like I said, they're extremely difficult to find. So I have one nice vial of them, and yeah, I don't tend to use them much because I'm afraid of, gee, what if I need them someday and I don't have any more? Well, you know how that is, you fellow beaters. Okay, here we have the other traditional seed beads, so to speak, and these are bugles. Now you can see that there are two different sizes to bugles. These are a size 3, and they're about 12 millimeters long. These are size 1s, and these are about 3 millimeters long. So you can see that there's a pretty good difference in the size of these. Okay, now that we have talked about shapes and, well, not shapes, well, kind of shapes and sizes, let's talk about different colors. Okay, now that we've talked about sizes and shapes, let's talk about color. What you're seeing here is what's called a matte AB. Matte AB means it's a rather matte appearance, kind of like a sand-blasted or etched finish to it. And then the AB stands for Aurora Borealis, which is a rainbow or oil slick effect. So think of it as like that. So that's what these are. And these are, I think, a green AB. I forget what color green these are called, but green. These are teal AB, and although this one looks gray in person, it looks more of what it's supposed to be like, and that is amethyst AB. These, of course, are metallic coppers. So this is an Aurora Borealis finish. Matte. I should say again, these are matte Aurora Borealis. Whoopsie daisy. There goes the camera. These are what's called iris. Now this is matte. As you can tell, I like to use matte a lot. But the iris it's very similar in many ways to the AB, but when you see the regular irises compared to a regular or non-matte AB, you see the difference right away. But these are like the ABs in that they may have multiple colors within a bead, but for the most part it's not a rainbow or oil slick effect. So we've got that. This is what's called an AB. So this is more of a shiny, non-matte AB. So that's what we've got here. Then we've got, this is another matte opaque, another matte AB. This is a silver lined orange, and the silver lined are lined with not real silver, but I think it's a silver nitrate. And the interior of the bead is lined with that, and then it's covered by a transparent color. So this is like silver overlaid with transparent orange. Again, there's a metallic. Here we have, once more, we have a matte shade, but this is just a matte opaque. Here we have something called a Salon Finish. That is Salon, C-E-Y-L-O-N. And that is like a pearlized finish. And it comes more than in just pearl colors. It comes in purple and green and yellow and, you know, all sorts of colors, blues. This is a matte silver lined. So this is the same kind really as this orange stuff. But this is a matte version, and this is actually gold. So it's a much more subdued silvery color. And of course this again is the traditional silver lined yellow. Okay, now let's take a look at some other colors. Now here we go with a traditional iris finish. You can see that it's a metallic look, and it has different colors within each bead, but it also has a range of colors. I think this one is probably a blue metallic or a blue iris, and they come in blue iris, green iris. I've seen pastel irises that are to die for, but are also like $30 a 6-inch tube, so no, I don't have any of those. But irises, I love using them because you get such a color range, and you know, one tube of beads and you don't have to worry about using all sorts of different colors. Okay, we've got the metallics. What you want to look for when it comes to metallic beads are something called permanently galvanized. Now, a company called Toho makes them, and Miyuki, the makers of Delica, also makes them. Regular galvanized you do not want, because as soon as you finish your beadwork and put it on, it's going to start rubbing off. You do not want regular galvanized, but you do want permanently galvanized. And I have worn these for weeks at a time, you know, the permanently galvanized stuff, and the color has not worn off. I mean, it's been great. Now, that isn't to say that it won't eventually wear off, but it hasn't worn off as yet. This is really pretty. This is something relatively new from the Czech Republic. Let's see if I can get the color a little bit better. This is, let me see, avocado marbled pink luster. Yeah, love the color. But again, it's kind of an organic look. It almost looks more like a granite or something along those lines. This is beautiful when done all by itself. It's kind of like an iris. You can use this one color to do an entire bracelet, and it I mean, it doesn't look flat or anything like that. It has a wonderful appearance. These finishes are again relatively new. They're coming out of the Czech Republic, and I think that they are absolutely gorgeous. I love them. Okay, here's something called a color lined. What this is, let's see if you can see it better from the side. Let me see if this helps. You've got a color in the center surrounded by a transparent color. Now in this particular one, this is turquoise color lined yellow, or topaz probably. Turquoise color lined topaz. So it looks like there are spaces between the beads. There isn't. It is the transparent color. So these are really pretty. They come in all kinds of color combinations. So it's not just like topaz and an opaque color, or topaz, or excuse me, an opaque color with like clear or anything. I mean, there are color combinations that are kind of wild for sure. I think I have one is green color line, or oxblood color line green, or something like that. I mean, it's a really wild color. But there's a really big selection of the color line these days. Now, one thing you've got to watch out for on the color lines that I found out is the interior color, because it's not a, I want to say it's kind of like a painted on color. It's not painted. But that's what I kind of liken the finish to. Since it's on the interior like this, it can wear off, and I've had that problem when I've used Fireline. If you're going to use colorline beads, I highly recommend that you don't use Fireline unless your project is not going to be handled a lot. But if it's like a bracelet, the color's going to come off. Just take my word for it. Use a regular type thread if you're going to use colorline for something like a bracelet. For something like earrings, it's fine. Next we have transparent matte, and this one is a light sapphire. Here's a transparent AB, and this is not matte for a change. I have seen these called rainbows, or crystal rainbows, or crystal waterfalls, or really all it is a light transparent with an AB finish. But it's very, very pretty. I like the light transparent colors with an AB finish. It really is lovely. Again, here's an opaque matte. This one is an alabaster finish, so it's not quite pearlized, it's not quite opaque, but it has a very pretty alabaster-like finish. Again, we have a Salon. We have just a regular transparent, so these aren't matte or anything like that. The thing that you have to worry about with the regular transparents, and you know, anytime you have a transparent, is because they are transparent, they're going to take on some of the color of whatever is in back of them. You can see. So you've got to watch out for even the color thread that you're using sometimes. So just keep that in mind when you're using especially a light transparent. Here's a transparent red AB. Beautiful color. It's really lovely. I have a lot of this and I almost never use it because I don't use red a lot. Here is another matte AB, and this one is, I think, light topaz AB. This one is an opaque luster. Let's see what other colors we have. Here is more of the marbled, and again I'll get into these kinds of beads in another video, but you can see that this would just make a gorgeous bracelet all by itself. Just the beads and this one color, and that's it. It's beautiful. Let's see, what else do we have? Here's an antique metallic color. So it's not just the bright shiny metallics. You've also got more of an antique silver look. Again, some more of the silver lined. Here's something that has come out recently, And these are the neon colors. Ooh, so you've got like a bright fuchsia, bright orange, bright yellow, and bright green, of course, all neon. So these are all a lot of fun to use, especially for like summer, or I can think of the oranges would be great for Halloween, and maybe the greens and the yellows, well, the greens anyway, would be great for Christmas, and I mean on and on and on. Okay, that is the basics of different colors and of course the seed beads. So I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I'm going to get started on using the different kinds of beads, so the different shapes and everything, so we'll talk about them. Meanwhile, Gail Nettles from Beaded Jewelry Diva, I really appreciate you hanging around to watch the end of my video, and if you like my videos, I would sure be appreciative if you would go ahead and give me a like and also subscribe. So catch you later. Bye.